Hello and welcome to Creative Apparel Plus. Just wanted to show some of the equipment I use when I am designing different types of items. I'll first start out with the different types of cutters that I use. I have my Cricut Maker. My Cricut Maker can cut up to 12 inches in width of different types of material. Next we have my Cameo 3 silhouette, which also cuts 12 inches in width, but also cuts a little bit longer in length, and you don't have to use a mat with it. Next we have the Cricut Ventura, which is the latest Cricut cutter. It cuts up to 24 inches in width, and the length is pretty long, and it's a much faster cutter. I love using it, especially if I'm having to make quite a few items. And my last cutter is the CE7000, which is kind of like an industrial cutter. It cuts up to 24 inches in width, and it is extremely fast, and you don't need a mat at all for it. When I say a mat, I mean a cutting mat that you put the material on to use to cut whatever's needed. Moving on to my presses that I use to adhere different items to whatever it is, the material is that I'm going to use. First is my Cricut press, and I use it for items that are not too large. Then you have my HTV Ront Mini Press, and I use this a lot of times when I'm going to make something for a child or something that's really tiny. Then I have my Cricut mug press, which I usually use just mainly for mugs. I do hear that you can put tumblers in there to adhere material, but I haven't tried that yet. Love this. It's pretty self-explanatory and easy to use. And moving on from that is my convection oven. My convection oven I use for my tumblers. I know there are actual tumbler heat presses out there, but this gets the job done. My HTV Ront heat press, I use it for bigger ticket items. It has a pull out where you can put the item on and then you push it back in, and it does have an automatic open and close once the item is completed. Lastly, we have our Hotronix Fusion IQ heat press, and it is probably one of the best heat presses out there. I use this more than anything. It does have a pull out where you put the item on, and it does have a swing away, not automatic, shut and open, but I just absolutely love it. I'm able to preset for different materials that I use. Again, this is probably one of the best heat presses out there. Oops. I thought I was done with heat presses. I forgot about my hat press. So, I believe this is a Caesar heat press. It does have a couple of different platinums for depending on the size cap I'm going to use. I'll quickly just tell you the printers that I use. I have a Epson ETE 2850 EcoTank inkjet printer, just a simple everyday printer. Then I have my Uninet i550 laser printer. It just depends on what type of item I am going to use for what I will be printing. Then I have the Epson ET15000 EcoTank, and I actually converted this into a sublimation printer, and it does a pretty good job for what I needed to do. And lastly, I have my Sawgrass 1000, which is an actual sublimation printer that I use quite often. So there you have it, some of the equipment that I use when I'm customizing items. And although the items or the equipment appear to be the same, there are some differences. I just wanted to show you a brief overview, but as I create more content, I will go over the equipment in more detail. They do require different software depending on, the equipment that you are using. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, ask questions. For any of your custom needs, please visit creativeapparelplus.com, and thanks for watching.